We have here some fantastic examples of embroidery that was produced in military hospitals throughout the First World War. Embroidery was used as a form of occupational therapy in the 20th century, as it was really good for strengthening muscles, improving coordination, and also just a way to pass the time for bedbound or even just hospital-bound patients. It also had the advantage of being something that was easily taught in hospitals. So while craft work in general was popular, embroidery was a skill that many nurses already had, so they could teach their patients how to complete these pieces. The equipment itself as well was fairly available, it was light, it was portable, and therefore easily translated into a care space. So over here we have a wonderful piece of embroidery by Harold Ernest Carter, who served with the Royal Flying Corps in the First World War. Badges were a really popular choice, so many of the examples that we have are of Royal Flying Corps or Royal Air Force badges. Harold Ernest Carter was shot down while serving in France and really severely injured. It wasn't thought that he was going to survive his injuries, but after surgery he did. He made it through, and then he was sent to convalesce in Moreton and Marsh. And it was during his healing process that he completed this wonderful piece. Similarly, Thomas Flavel was also shot in France, and he was treated in Rouen Military Hospital and then evacuated to England to receive further care at Reading War Hospital. For Flavel, completing a piece like this might have had additional significance. He was an upholsterer before he had enlisted in the Royal Flying Corps, so he might have thought about this piece as a very practical example of his skill set. It may have been a way of either gathering new skills that he could apply to his trade when he returned to work after the war, or it might have been a way of translating existing skills into his rehabilitative process. By the end of the war, these efforts were so successful that a number of charity organizations, as well as public figures like Ernest Thesiger, get involved in advocating for embroidery as a form of rehabilitative care, but also as a form of occupational training for soldiers who might not be able to return to service after the war, either because of their injuries or the traumas they've experienced. So a number of guilds come up that offer work opportunities to soldiers, embroidering pieces for show. And these go on exhibition, and they're really well received. So the Queen Mary attends a number of exhibitions and commissions some pieces herself. The media is really receptive to these pieces produced by former soldiers. And it's so well established that by the time the Second World War rolls around, specialty kits are being produced for soldiers and airmen and servicemen who are receiving care in hospital. So by the Second World War, the educational and therapeutic value of needlework was really well established. And we start to see these kits be commissioned specifically for the armed forces. So William Briggs & Co. is the company behind Art Needlework by Penelope Kits. And they were specifically commissioned to create kits for servicemen who were incapacitated and recovering in care. So we have here an example of the Royal Air Force badge. But there was lots of types of patterns they could follow. Popular landscapes, specifically British landscapes, were really popular, floral arrangements. But these are the ones that we have in our collection. And the kits came with fabric, tracing paper with the pattern, as well as wonderful step-by-step instructions on different types of stitch and how to complete them on the canvas. They also had with them a needle and plenty of thread. So as soon as you received a kit, you were pretty much good to go. And the hope was that not only would these help with the rehabilitative process, with the physical therapy aspect of recovery, but also that it would be a way to pass the boredom of hours spent recovering in hospital when you're a bedbound or wheelchair-bound patient. These embroidery kits, as well as the pieces completed by members of the Royal Flying Corps, really show how popular embroidery was as a form of rehabilitative care. But they're also a testament to the sacrifice and determination of the servicemen who completed them.
Our fundraising appeal, The Crate Escape, will help us move thousands of objects to a new collections hub at our Midlands site, bringing you closer than ever to some of these remarkable RAF stories. You can play a crucial role by sponsoring a box today. To find out how you can get involved, visit our website, rafmuseum.org, for more information.